Hello and welcome to Richland Spotlight, an ongoing program where we talk with city staff and shine a light on hot topics, programs, and events taking place in our city. Today we are excited to welcome the City of Richland's Community and Development Division's Executive Assistant, Pam Vikonen. Pam, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you. And yeah, we're excited to talk with you about a beautiful public art installation that is at one of our most eclectic and historic shopping destinations. People probably know we're talking about the Uptown. And of course, we want to just rewind a little bit and go back a few years and just start from the beginning. So talk to us about how we got the ball rolling on the Uptown Mural Project.
Well, the Uptown Mural Project was meant as a revitalization tool for the Uptown. As everybody knows, the Uptown has had its heyday and it's had its decline. And so Joe Schissel, when he was our planning and redevelopment manager, he realized that there was a need to do some revitalization at the Uptown. And because he worked with the Arts Commission, he was very involved in that kind of creative process. So he actually is the one who started this.
Oh, interesting. And we'll talk about the design of the murals and how a theme and then the colors chosen.
Mm-hmm. So at the Uptown, they really stressed the Googie architecture. So Googie is a form of architecture that sort of reminds you of the Jetsons. Mm-hmm. It's a little futuristic, even though it was designed back in the 50s. And so when Joe moved forward with selecting designs, it was very clear that we needed a design that fit with that type of architecture. So the designs were retro, they were simple, very clean, and the colors evoked that time period as well.
Oh, yeah, and you know, it's one thing to have a great idea to do something. It's another thing, another aspect to actually have the funding to carry out a dream. Let's talk a little bit about how funding was attained for this.
So the funding on these art pieces actually came from the city's Business License Reserve Fund. And the Business License Reserve Fund is set up to help businesses, sort of a group of businesses, let's say, do projects that will increase their visibility, that will increase maybe visitors coming to their area. And the mural project actually fit that very well because it's a very visual project, it's bright, it's welcoming, and it benefits all of the businesses there, not just one or two.
Perfect. And you know, you just kind of talked about the amount of businesses that are at the Uptown. I'm sure everyone knows that it's a very eclectic mix of shops there. And how were the locations for the murals selected?
So we actually contracted with an artist, Amy Lynn Taylor, out of And Yet, and she did a survey of the Uptown, came up with a portfolio of designs, and then selected different locations she felt was most appropriate. So we've focused on those sites. Again, she's an artist and she knew what would work best for her work, but it's actually been very beneficial and helpful to have those sites pre-selected because then we didn't have to make a determination. I'm not an artist, and so it was very helpful to have that kind of guidance.
Yeah, and what sort of, I don't want to say burden, but what did the business owner, what did they had to step up to the plate in order to make these murals possible? Let's talk a little bit about what they were obligated to do.
They do. So it's actually, it's evolved into a partnership with the business owner and the property owner, and they sign a contract that agrees that the mural will be kept in good shape on their wall for 5 years. And if they choose to remove that mural before the 5 years is up, then they have a financial obligation to pay back that grant, basically, that was used to put the mural there in the first place.
All right, okay. So And Yet created the design, and then local artist David Mullins was selected to kind of recreate or paint, bring the vision to life on the businesses at the Uptown. What made David the right artist for the job?
Well, we did a call for artists, and we had several artists that were interested in participating in this mural program, but the majority of them wanted to have complete creative control over this. And so when it was explained to them that the designs were already made and there was no flexibility in how they would present them, a lot of the artists dropped out. David is a local artist, which bumped him up on the list. He's extremely easy to work with, he's extremely talented, and he stayed true to the designs. And so our initial use of him was meant for just the first 2 murals, but he's just been so wonderful to work with that the Uptown Business Improvement District asked to keep him on as their mural artist.
Oh, great. And how many murals have been completed, and what's the goal or the plan for this project going forward?
So to date, we have 4 murals completed, and they're throughout the Uptown. So if you haven't seen them, please go to the Uptown and walk around. You'll be amazed by these murals. The plan is to just move forward until all of the designs in the portfolio have been used. And we have about 8 designs from the original portfolio, plus an additional, I think it was 2 designs, and they called them artistic elements, so pieces that could be used either in smaller places or put in with a larger piece. So we have quite a bit of flexibility as to how many more we can move, but our goal is to do at least 2 a year for as long as we can.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, we look forward to seeing more and more as the year goes on. And the murals are absolutely stunning. And share with us just what they add to the Uptown Shopping Center.
They add a vitality to the Uptown. Everybody has their thoughts about the Uptown. Some of them like how unique it is, and some of them are very, I don't want to say negative, but they are. There are comments about the Uptown that it needs improvement, and what can we do to do that. And the murals have actually brightened the area and encouraged other business owners to spruce up the fronts of their buildings, or to ask to have a mural on their building. So the general atmosphere of the Uptown has improved. People are cleaning the fronts of their buildings. People are participating more in group events and becoming more of a community instead of this is my business and I'm not interacting with anybody else.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, anything we can do to get people to Uptown and actually to check out the businesses that are there, because they're truly amazing, and they're one-of-a-kind businesses that you're not going to find anywhere else in the Tri-Cities,
That is true.
Well, thanks for coming on the program, Pam. I've had a great time talking with you about the colorful mural project at the Richland Uptown. And of course, if you haven't seen the murals yet, we strongly encourage you to get down to the Uptown and check them out. And while you're there, go ahead and do a little bit of shopping. Well, if you would like more information on the City of Richland, visit the website at the link at the bottom of your screen. I'm Mark Ingham, and thanks for joining us on Richland Spotlight. That one will do.